Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Ciel and our Nosurge reaction. Today we have two songs as requested by Renshin and the executive producers of my channel members and everything. They wanted me to get to Raciel Fuser and Raciel Reincarnation, which I was given the context to both of these songs and where they take place, basically the ending ones, but I was given the context by Renshin and how they all fit into the story and like what's going on during these songs and the why of it all. So I'm gonna hear both of these. Apparently I needed to listen to both of these in the same video for some reason, so I'm gonna be doing that, and I suppose without further ado, let's go! I love that dissonance. I love it when they do that. I still find their, like, multiple languages super intriguing from a lore perspective. That's so cool. I'm loving how much like West Indian influence there is in the percussion of this one. They do that a lot, but I always love it. Their cultural blending is just absolutely brilliant. It sounds so jovial. It's so like it's so bouncy and like, hearty. I realized I stopped talking there because I got distracted by the song. I was gonna say it's very party coded. I think my brain stopped at party. There's just so much going on in these. I get lost in them sometimes. Their vocal doubling every time. It's so cool. God, this series has such unique properties for its music, especially. Like the shift of how this part feels so much more like generally intense, juxtaposed to this. Compositionally, this is one of the more like Japanese flavored ones I've heard. just overall. It's not exclusively Japanese by any means. God, I love it every single time. I never know what I'm gonna get, but even though it's all like, it's kind of similar in their tone, they always throw different wrenches in there, and I'm always shocked. I do think that the funniest part for this specific song to me is the way that it was phrased by Renshin in their description of what's going on during the song, that apparently Ion or Eon, I'm not sure which way that's pronounced, but either way, they sing so hard at this planet, so it explodes and they can use the energy to power the colony ship, which is the funniest way to phrase that. Just like keep yelling at a planet until it implodes so hard that it's able to be used as a power source. That's hilarious. But also, one of the more unique things, again, as far as just the lore of this game goes, who would have thought of that? You know, like, where the fucking hell did that come from? What fever dream was somebody like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have them sing at a planet until it literally can't handle the vibes anymore, and it's going to just implode and become a part of the energy source of this next thing. Again, it's just insanity. This world that I've seen some of the lore of now, I've read into it a little bit. I understand a little bit more of it than I used to, but it's still moments like that where like I haven't played it, so I haven't experienced exactly what it's going for, where I'm like, where the hell did that come from? Even though I understand the point of a lot of this now, it's still things like that that throw me off, where it's just like, yeah, go ahead, sing at a planet that's so hard that it just implodes, you know? What the fuck? But that also reflects itself in the music so well. They do such a good job at that every single time, and for this one, that juxtaposition between something that sounds so jovial, bouncy, and like a party song, you know? It has this energy of being like a bar track, something that would probably appear at a party or a festival in medieval times even, especially with that 3/4 count in there. It's just very bouncy. You just can't help yourself but kind of get into it. Juxtaposing that with the more intense like verse sections of the song that are probably supposed to be building the power, where the more party-like chorus sections, I suppose if you want to call them that, these songs have kind of iffy, like I would say a sliding scale of what may or may not be the verses versus chorus, depending on what you're talking about. But for this one, I think the chorus is definitely that like more jovial, bouncy side, and the more serious sections are the verses. And it's just, again, you're building up this energy so then you can like yell at the planet and then it can't handle it enough so it implodes. Again, wild shit, but it all makes sense in the universe of what they're doing here and how powerful song is. These are the things that I've picked up due to other people giving me lore dumps and explaining, as well as a little bit of my own deep diving into the Akiko universe, because I haven't gotten into it, but at the same time, I've learned, and I've gotten too far down the rabbit hole to act like I haven't. But as per usual, this is one of those songs, just like many, if not all of the other ones that I've heard, where it catches me off guard by doing what they're doing, by being true to what the sound of the universe is, and not being apologetic for it in any way, shape, or form. They've made their sound. They know exactly what type of style they're going for now, and these like vocal layerings and everything add to that, this unique quality to this world's music and how it's applied in the world that they live and in the universe they're in. It all just tracks, you know? But the sound itself is something I've talked about so many times before, like I've said in other videos as well, that I don't know if I can add more to it, because it's doing exactly what it should for the song and what the purpose of it all is, and including all of these different languages in one song in order to encompass everything, to build all of that power so they can make sure that it works when it's used. You know, there's so much that they put into these songs and so many things that they include and choose to do for each one that makes it specifically viable for that in-world explanation. Like I said, it all makes sense, but I love it when they do these sorts of things where it's like, okay, now this totally tracks how they're utilizing the languages in order to explain everything, but also stacking them and doing multi-layered stuff, because this is going to be a very complex process to make a planet implode. You know, like that's a lot, obviously. So again, makes sense in the universe and for the why in the song. And I'm not sure what the next one has in store. I'm sure it's going to be something similar in sound, but the context of what's going on is obviously different. And see how unique that situation is compared to this one as far as how they approach the song in the lore specific things, like including multiple languages and stacking all of that energy. Where that's going to be applied is how they make their differences. So I'm going to hear that one now. Again, I know the context here, so I know this one's following up pretty much immediately as far as just events go. Ooh. Getting everyone involved. This is what I'm talking about. The context matters so much. It's not just the prayer of one person. And there's that dissonance. They backed off from the dissonance. Oh. A little bit of vocal gymnastics, why not? This is brilliant. What an amazing follow-up. I'm smiling like an idiot, I can tell. I can feel it. I haven't stopped. Getting the entire people involved is the coolest possible approach for recreating a planet. Ooh. Oh. See the intensity in the song here, given the lyrics. They're gonna brighten it up. Back into it. Yep. We're gonna go bright again at the end of this one. Yep. Energy up. I'll say it again. The context is so important. I usually don't worry too much about context in my videos. But for this universe, you need it to understand how the music works. There's just no excuse, you know? You have to be in the know. Love that trailing there at the end too. Just like the dust, the astral dust disappearing into the distance. God, Damn, that's cool. The Philharmonic Orchestra of Tokyo. Holy shit. I didn't think it was gonna be that chorus. Damn. No wonder they couldn't afford to make every single game in English. They bought the Philharmonic for this fucking soundtrack. Now it all makes sense. Like, yeah, screw the West. They don't need the game. We need the Philharmonic specifically for this level of vocal beauty that they had in this one. And again, the context. I'll say it 500 times. This is one of the extremely few titles that I cover where I know I need the context now. Because prior to this, and then the first few songs I didn't pay really much attention to that at all. The lyrics didn't really like latch on because I'm like, okay, this just sounds like it's talking about nothing. But that's because I need to know the universe in order to understand how this is impactful in their world. Where most of the time, songs are just reflective of a character or an individual situation. You can get the vibe of a location, you know, like anything like that. That's not how they use music in this game. So having songs like this, especially this one, you need to understand that the context is that they're trying to rebuild a planet that they literally just blew up. And it's just like, what the fuck? Okay, so what makes this song beautiful is that it starts with like the groundwork being set by the main character there, and all of that energy being kind of given a shape, but not a form necessarily. It's like somebody making a basketball out of like a bubble, you know? It's just like, okay, well, it's a bubble. It's still in the shape of a circle, duh, but like there's no density to it. You need to be able to add to that. How do you do that? How do you make this actually have the impact it needs to? You need to get the voices of everybody involved in this situation. Everybody who could be impacted needs to be a part of this. The entirety of the world's population is singing this song and trying to get their energy into this shit. It's like the spirit bomb of music. You need to have as many people on the same page as you can in order to make this sort of a thing, this fucking miracle basically, happen and be effective. So that's why we don't really get much of the soloist in this one, because sure, while there's groundwork being explained throughout and she does come back to explain the detail work, that's all she needs to do, when the rest of the people are the ones giving their energy in order to make this as powerful as they can, in order to make something insane like building a planet utilizing their music happening. You know, you got to make that happen. You can't do that by yourself. I don't care if you're a fucking god or not. You need to have some sort of a support behind you. You can't just celestial power that shit into reality. You have to do something. It's the fact that nothing is just a given. There's no like super ultra powerful single character in this world that I know of where you need to have more. You know, you can't just magically make shit up and it'll just be fine. That's not how this goes. This isn't a fucking anime. There is an actual purpose to having everything in here. There's no one fucking savior that's super overpowered that's going to make things okay. You know, everything is not going to be all right if people aren't on the same page. And again, that's why this song sounds so beautiful, and them following the emotional highs and lows of every single phrase, which match up with the lyrics and how the intent is supposed to be for that, like exalting this sort of energy, projecting that outward, because it's just like, we will make this happen, you know, instead of just going like, yeah, I guess fucking whatever, like a drunkard sitting at a bar on a fucking Saturday night. You can't have people not invested. The singers, the people of this world need to be as invested as the person who is setting up all of this for you. That groundwork I mentioned, they can form the bubble, but they can't make it dense, and that's exactly the point of this. I also love how comparatively simple it was to that other song even, because that is something where it's largely like a couple of people maybe at best, and they're just expelling all of their energy into that one effort, so they know they won't be powerful enough to handle this one. Again, the reason you need more people, but also the reason that they're able to set this groundwork and also keep it simple enough that a majority of people can follow along. There wasn't any like ridiculous vocal stuff going on here aside from those gymnastics I mentioned. That was the soloist, which is going to be the person who is comparatively more powerful than the rest, I would assume. But at the same time, it's like, okay, how do we get people on the same page? How do we make it simple enough that everyone is involved? Let's just have them basically sing the general idea of, we need a fucking planet, please help magic gods of music. I know that's not exactly one-to-one for the lore, don't yell at me, but at the same point, that's the vibe going on here. How can we get as many people involved that will actually have an impact instead of asking too much of them or expelling too much much of their own energy and wasting multiple people's lives potentially. I'm not sure if this has like a direct link to people's like existence. Like if they spend too much of themselves in this, too much of their energy, will it have like a negative impact on their livelihood? That's possible too. So maybe that's another reason to keep it more simple. But overall, it makes more sense to keep everybody on the same page with something that is comparatively much more simple when all the other detail work is still being handled by that one stronger person. It's again, not just them alone. There are so many other people who are handling the bulk of the lifting in this situation. And then the end of the song, just letting it trail off the way they did. Again, I kind of likened that to the like astral dust kind of disappearing off in the distance, you know, behind a planet, every planet being formed, there is going to be like trailing off. There's going to be energy and things that aren't quite utilized, even in the active universe we're in, the real world. When things happen, when stars collide, there is energy expelled in every direction that we don't have control of, and it's not going to be a part of our existence here. And over the course of millions of years, we'll trail so far away, it'll be irrelevant to us, even if we can still track it. So that's the kind of concept I was getting at the end of that song, where it just feels like there's a little bit of energy kind of just delaying itself on the way out and just existing, you know, like it's not a part of the experience anymore, but it's the leftover trails of the energy that they put in and all of that effort. And you can tell that because there is that excess there, that they tried their damnedest, and that's just a really cool musical thing to include. So fucking brilliant. I think I've yapped about this plenty. I'm sure this is going to be, again, a very long video, but hopefully you all enjoyed it. That's about all I've got to say here. If you want me to get to any other songs, by all means, drop them in the comments below, and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if, like Renshin did, you want to guarantee that I listen to something, you can always go to my Patreon or YouTube memberships, or you can force me to listen to something. Doesn't matter what it's from, who it's by, if it's good or bad, none of that matters. That's why it's guaranteed. But if you don't want to do any of that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!